Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dig into something that's absolutely critical for quality care, but honestly gets overlooked way too often: home management. And let me tell you, it's about a whole lot more than just keeping a house tidy. So, let me ask you something right off the bat. When you picture a truly safe home for someone in your care, what comes to mind? It's easy to jump to the obvious stuff, right? But the truth is, building an environment that's genuinely safe and supportive, well, that's a real professional skill. See, this is why it's so important. Home management is not just about tidying up. Think of it as preventative care at its best. It's about creating a space where a person's dignity, their independence, and this is the big one, their safety can really truly thrive. When you get this right, you're literally stopping crises before they even have a chance to start. All right, let's jump right in. Section 1 is called Beyond Tidying Up, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Get way past the idea of a simple chore list and figure out what professional home management really means. So if you look at the professional standards, home management is defined as the whole shebang: the planning, the organizing, and the overseeing of all household tasks. And the goal? It's not just about things being clean. It's about making sure that living environment is safe, functional, and actually comfortable for the person in it. It's a proactive system, not just reacting to messes. Okay, so what does that system actually look like on the ground? Well, that brings us to these 6 core responsibilities. Think of these as the pillars holding up the whole structure of effective home management. Now, what's really cool here is that this isn't just a random list of chores, right? These are 6 interconnected parts of professional care. Housekeeping and good food, that's directly tied to health and safety. Managing time and money well, that means you're not missing critical appointments. And running errands, that keeps a person plugged into their community and their doctors. It's a whole person view where everything supports everything else. But what happens when these things get dropped, when they're neglected? In our next section, From Chaos to Care, we're going to look at a real-world story to see just how high the stakes are. And even more important, we'll talk about how to pull a bad situation back from the brink. So I want you to meet Mr. Thompson. This quote really hits home. A cluttered hallway, a throw rug, and suddenly a serious injury. This wasn't some random accident. This was a direct result of a breakdown in home management. And if you look closer, the red flags were everywhere. Every single one of these warning signs points right back to one of those 6 core responsibilities we just talked about. Spoiled food? That's a failure in meal planning. Scattered pills and missed appointments? A breakdown in health support and time management. And the big one, those cluttered, dangerous walkways, a massive failure in basic housekeeping and safety. And here's the most important part of this whole story. What happened to Mr. Thompson was preventable. That fall didn't have to happen. But it did, and it led to an expensive hospital stay and a huge step back for his health and his independence. This just goes to show you how absolutely vital it is to be proactive with home management. So this brings us to the million-dollar question, right? The challenge every single caregiver faces. How do you stop this from happening? Especially when you're racing against the clock and, your client wants one thing while you can see an urgent safety issue that needs to be handled right now. This is where negotiation comes in, and this table gives you a fantastic practical script. The whole idea is to first acknowledge what your client wants, hear them out, but then you gently pivot to the safety need. The magic is in how you frame the solution. Hey, how about we tackle this together really quick? It'll only take 5 minutes, and then we can get right to your show. It shows respect for what they want, but you're still taking care of the non-negotiable safety stuff. Now, let's talk clutter. The number 1 rule, the golden rule, is consent. Always, always, always ask first before you touch or throw away anything. It's their home, their stuff. To make it less overwhelming, start small. Just pick one little area like a tabletop. Get that small win. But your absolute top priority has to be creating clear pathways. That's a must for preventing falls. And make them part of the process. Just asking, hey, where would you like this to go? Gives them control and turns it from you cleaning their house into the 2 of you organizing their space. All right, time for our final section. Let's pull all of this together into a practical toolkit that you can start using like today. Here's a great cheat sheet to keep in mind, the do's and don'ts. Your do's are all about being proactive and working together. Put safety first. Always ask for permission. Have a routine. And bring the client into decisions. The don'ts? Well, these are the traps you want to avoid.
Don't let clutter pile up in walkways. Don't assume you know what they want. And I'll say it again, don't get rid of anything without their okay. It's a super simple but really powerful guide for doing this job with respect.
Okay, before we finish up, how about a quick quiz to make sure all this stuff really sticks?
Question 1. When you walk into a cluttered home, what is your absolute first priority? The answer is B, clearing walkways. No doubt about it. Before you do anything else, you've got to make sure no one's going to trip and fall. That's always job number 1.
All right, number 2, true or false? It's okay to toss some old magazines without asking, especially if the client has dementia. Ooh, this is a big one, and the answer is a hard false. It doesn't matter. Their stuff is their stuff. Respecting their dignity means you always ask for permission, period. Question 3. What do you do when what the client wants clashes with an urgent safety task? The best answer here is C. Acknowledge their request and find a compromise. This shows you're listening, but it still lets you handle the dangerous situation. It's all about building that trust.
Okay, question 4. Which of these tasks is a key part of home management? The correct answer is B, scheduling medical appointments. Remember those 6 pillars? Managing time and supporting their health is a core part of the job.
And our last question. What's the potential outcome of poor home management? As we saw with Mr. Thompson's story, the answer is C. It's not just about a messy house. The stakes are incredibly high. We're talking falls, illness, even hospitalization. So let's bring it all home with this one big idea. At the end of the day, effective home management isn't about having a perfect, magazine-ready house. Not at all. It's about creating a safe harbor, a space where safety, function, and most of all, a person's dignity come first. And I want to leave you with this final thought. Just think about it. What is one small thing you can do this week to make your client's home safer and more dignified? Maybe it's just securing one loose rug, or clearing one path to the bathroom, or even just having one of those collaborative conversations. Remember, every single one of those small steps can make a world of difference.